Hi folks, this video walks through our thermal printer project, which is using Asana to schedule our maintenance tasks and automatically print those responsibilities and tasks out when that item comes up. What's happening here is we're using Asana, and Asana is the website that we use to track and manage all of the projects that we're working on here, whether it's machining work, job shop work, videos, filming, product development, etc. It's a great way to work with other members of your team, and at the level that we're using it, it's free, which is great. We can also schedule projects to be recurring or like a calendar. So for example, every 2 weeks, you could set up something like check the oil in the air compressor, or every 6 months, you could say replace the batteries in the Renaissance. That stuff's pretty easy to do, but it's difficult to keep track of, in my opinion, especially as your company grows. So that's where this device is supposed to come in. I want to use Asana to schedule that stuff and maintain that schedule, but not everybody out in the shop is on email or in front of phones, and I love this idea of it being a thermal printer that just says if something gets spit out of it, it could list who it's assigned to, or it could list what the task is, and you've got this very tangible piece of paper that makes it easier, in my opinion, to go do the maintenance stuff because you're responding to the process. It's just like Jay Pearson from Pearson Work Holding has talked so much about, which is that we all work for the process. So the way we're doing this in this video is Asana is talking to a website called If This Then That. That's then talking to Adafruit.io. That's pushing it to an Arduino style board called the Huzzah, which is then talking to the thermal printer. I'm going to go through that here in a bit of detail and the help that we got from a fellow named Brad Lotsberg on writing all of this code. It's super cool, and it satisfied my want to figure out how can we do this? How can we leverage internet-equipped Arduinos and services like If This Then That? Here's the thing. There's quite a bit of work that goes into this. It's pretty easy to make a mistake, so I want to quickly mention a much easier way to do this. If you head over to the project page, there's a thing called the Memo Bird printer. In lieu of buying all of these individual components and soldering and code, you can buy a Memo Bird printer. It integrates directly with If This Then That, and you basically have a turnkey solution. You can then integrate Asana with If This Then That, and so literally in a matter of a few minutes, you can have this whole solution working with no risk of code and no need to create accounts and I/O and Arduino code and hassle factors, and potentially some security risk as it relates to your Wi-Fi and your network. One important thing to note, we've got a link to the Memo Bird. You have to buy that a specific one, and I believe even that specific color. The Amazon comments make mention of this, but basically some of the other Memo Birds that appear to be the same are from an overseas manufacturer or an overseas version, and they won't work with If This Then That and some of the other US apps. So definitely pick up this version, and it's really a great workflow. We've got a copy of this Word document, which you can go through, which talks about the drivers that you need to install and how to set up If This Then That, and then how to set up and wire in the thermal printer, so a couple of resistors and the other TX, RX type stuff. The Arduino code, which is also available, is fairly well commented. You'll need to set up your Wi-Fi SSID inside of the quotes, as well as your Wi-Fi password. You'll need to create a free Adafruit.io account and replace these 3 items with that information. Let's make a project in Asana. So I'm going to start a new project called Shop Maintenance. I like them boards. Create project, and we'll say tasks. So I'll create a new task here called replace Renaissance batteries. And now what I can do is set the due date. So I like to do this every 6 months. So we'll set that to October 25th, and I can set it also to reoccur periodically, monthly, every 6 months. Now, in If This Then That, I'm going to create a new applet. So if this happens, so what we'll do is we'll tie in Asana. This is so cool. New task in a project. So that's what will happen every 6 months. This is our workspace, and the name or URL, the best bet here is to click on this down arrow and say copy project URL. That's a trigger. So when that happens, this is the Asana logo, then what? Here's where we use the Adafruit.io. Send data to Adafruit.io. This is so cool. Feed is SMW thermal. Data to save. We click add ingredient, and we'll choose the task name, create action, and we're done. So every week or every month or every 6 months, Asana will automatically recreate that task. It'll get pushed through if this then that over to the Adafruit IO. That will push it to the Huzzah, and that will result in the printer printing the task, which is awesome. We've got more information on creating the Adafruit IO in the Word doc that you can download and walk through. Again, the awesome thing is it's all free. The downside is, again, it does take some fussing. It does take a little bit of work to go through and get it. So nothing wrong with the Memo Bird approach, because the Memo Bird is great because it just works. What we didn't like was the thing looks terrible. It's not nearly as cool, but nevertheless, pretty cool solution. We'll keep you guys posted on how it works in our shop as a lean tool, but I've always enjoyed being told what to do. And that may sound funny, but a lot of times it's easier to do something if you're being told what to do. So when we've agreed on a process and now you distribute the responsibilities for that process across the shop, it's not so bad. If you know, hey, every 2 weeks I've got to do this little task that tells you what to do it, and you just go do it. Such a better way to live and work than always having to wonder, oh shoot, do I have to do that? Or dealing with starred emails or clutter on the digital front. So hope you guys learned something. Hope you enjoyed. Take care. See you soon.